Deep space was quiet. Too quiet. Human scouts drifted through the dark void, scanning for any sign of life. Their mission was simple: check on the colonies at the edge of human space. One colony in particular had not sent a message in years. Other races had assumed the humans had abandoned it. But humanity never left its own behind. Captain Aaron Voss stared at the screens in front of her. The faint distress signal flickered weakly in the cold void. Her fingers hovered over the console. "This signal, it's barely alive," she whispered. Her crew, a mix of seasoned officers and young cadets, exchanged nervous glances. "Captain," said Lieutenant Dax, pointing at the readouts, "energy readings around the planet, they're unusual. Something is out there." Aaron nodded slowly. "Then we go. Prepare the ship for descent. We are not leaving anyone behind." The human ship moved closer to the colony planet. The surface was scarred, dark and silent. Cities that once thrived now looked like ghost towns. Smoke rose from scattered areas, hinting at fires long extinguished. Erin's heart tightened, but her face remained calm. She had a mission and she would see it through. When the ship landed, the air was heavy with silence. The crew stepped out, their boots crunching over debris. The buildings were scorched. Strange markings, not human, covered the walls. Erin knelt, inspecting footprints that were far larger than a human's. "They were here," she said quietly. "Something alien, or worse, something unknown." The crew split into teams, moving carefully through the ruined streets. Every corner seemed to hide a shadow. The faint hum of the ship behind them was the only sound. Lieutenant Dax led one team toward a collapsed building. Inside they found personal belongings scattered. Children's toys lay charred and food stores had been abandoned for months. Then came the sound. Faint at first, almost drowned by the wind. A whisper. A human voice. "Help, please." Erin's hand shot to her radio. "Did anyone else hear that?" she asked. The crew froze. The voice came again, slightly stronger, coming from below the ground. The team rushed toward the source. A hatch led into a deep tunnel, hidden beneath rubble. Erin pried it open. Dust rose in clouds and the smell of damp earth filled their nostrils. She motioned for her crew to follow. The tunnel was dark, narrow, and twisted. Strange symbols were carved into the walls, symbols no human could understand. A faint light glowed in the distance. The voice grew clearer. "Help us, we're trapped." Erin's heart pounded. She had faced countless dangers but nothing like this. The tunnel seemed alive, whispering secrets that made her skin crawl. Her crew held tightly to their flashlights, illuminating broken walls and deep crevices. Suddenly, a low rumble shook the ground. Dust fell from the ceiling. "Careful," Erin shouted. "Keep moving but stay alert." The voice led them deeper. Finally they reached a collapsed chamber. Human figures crouched inside, covered in dirt and grime. Their eyes widened in terror and relief when they saw the rescuers. "We thought you had left us," one woman whispered. Erin stepped forward. "We never leave anyone behind," she said firmly. Her voice carried the weight of humanity itself. "Not here. Not ever." The survivors were weak but alive. They spoke of alien raiders who had attacked the colony years ago, taking many of them prisoner. The survivors had hidden underground, waiting and hoping for rescue. Their story was incomplete, but it painted a chilling picture of the colony's fall. Erin ordered her team to set up communications and start a secure extraction. But as they worked, the readings on the scanners changed. Energy spikes, faint but growing, appeared all around the colony. The aliens, whatever had attacked this place, were still out there. Watching. Waiting. Erin tightened her grip on her weapon. "We came for them," she said. "We will take them home. No one is left behind." The tunnel shook again, dust raining down from above. Shadows moved in the darkness beyond the flickering lights. The survivors clung to each other, hope and fear battling in their hearts. Erin's crew formed a circle, weapons raised, ready for whatever came next. And then it happened, a faint but distinct sound echoing through the tunnels. Metal scraping against metal. Something was coming and it was not human. Erin took a deep breath. This was only the beginning. The colony had secrets and the humans were about to uncover them. In the darkness the faint voice called again, "Help, please." Erin's eyes met her crew's. "We will not fail. We never do." Outside, the cold stars twinkled silently, unaware of the humans' determination. Deep in the tunnels the survivors clung to hope. Humanity had arrived and nothing, not alien, not darkness, would stop them from bringing their own home. The tunnels were dark and narrow. Dust floated in the air, sparkling faintly in the lights of the crew's flashlights. Every step echoed off the walls, making even the smallest sound feel like a shout. Captain Erin Voss led the way, her hand tight on her weapon, senses alert. The faint human voice they had heard still whispered somewhere deeper, guiding them like a fragile thread through the darkness. Lieutenant Dax stayed close to her side, scanning the walls with his sensor. "Captain, these markings, they're not human," he said, pointing at symbols etched into the stone. "I've never seen anything like them. Could be alien." Erin nodded, her jaw tight. "Then we need to be extra careful. Whoever, or whatever, made these marks might still be here." The crew moved cautiously. Every corridor seemed to twist and turn in strange ways, as if the tunnels themselves were alive, trying to trap them. Behind them, the survivors they had just found huddled, trembling in the dim light. They were children, elderly, and middle-aged adults, all weak from months underground. Their eyes were wide, full of fear and hope at the same time. "Stay close," Erin whispered. "We are not leaving anyone behind." Suddenly, a low rumble shook the ground. Dust fell from the ceiling, hitting the humans and the survivors alike. "Earthquake?" one of the crew asked nervously. "Not likely," Erin said. Her eyes narrowed as she scanned the walls with her sensors. Something else, something moving. A shadow flitted across the far end of the tunnel. The crew froze. The survivors pressed closer together, whispering prayers they thought no one would hear. The shadow moved again, fast, almost too fast to see, and vanished around a bend. "Aliens," Dax muttered, gripping his weapon. "They're still here." Erin took a deep breath. "We came for them. We will take them home. Nothing else matters." The team pushed forward, deeper into the tunnels. They came to a wider chamber, where the ceiling opened slightly to reveal a faint glow. In the center, a small group of survivors huddled together, their faces pale and terrified. Some were injured, some were too weak to stand. Yet their eyes lit up when they saw the humans enter. Thank you," one of the survivors whispered. "We thought no one would come." Erin stepped forward. "We never leave anyone behind. Not here, not anywhere." The survivors explained what had happened. Alien raiders had attacked the colony years ago, taking some prisoners and destroying much of the settlement. The remaining colonists had survived underground, living in tunnels and caves, scavenging what little they could find. They had hoped for rescue, but time had passed and hope had begun to fade. Erin listened, her expression unreadable. Her crew tended to the survivors, giving them water and rations, checking for injuries. The humans were brave and disciplined, but even they felt the weight of fear pressing down in the tunnels. Suddenly, the sensors on the human ship in orbit began to beep. Erin's comm crackled. "Captain, we are picking up multiple energy spikes around the colony," reported a voice from above. "They're moving fast, and they're not human." Erin's grip on her weapon tightened. "They found us," she said. "Get ready, everyone. We may have more than just the tunnels to worry about." The crew helped the survivors move carefully toward the tunnel exits. Every step was tense. Shadows seemed to shift in corners. Strange sounds echoed from deep within the tunnels, like whispers or footsteps, but no one could be certain. Then a loud metallic scrape rang out from behind them. The crew spun around, weapons raised, flashlights scanning the darkness. A figure darted across the shadows, too fast to clearly see. Some of the survivors screamed quietly. "Stay calm," Erin ordered. "Keep moving." The tunnels twisted, leading to a larger cavern. Here, faint lights glowed from what looked like alien machinery buried in the walls. The survivors stared, terrified. "What is that?" one child whispered. "Something we'll find out soon enough," Erin said. "But we leave no one behind." As they moved, another rumble shook the cavern. Dust fell from the ceiling and the alien machines hummed to life. Faint red lights blinked, scanning the tunnel. The humans froze. "They're watching us," Dax whispered. "They know we're here." Erin glanced at the survivors, who looked up at her with a mixture of fear and hope. "We will not fail," she said firmly. "We never leave anyone behind. Not one." Suddenly, a shadow lunged from the darkness and the crew fired. Alien drones, small but fast, attacked. Sparks flew as their weapons hit metal, and the humans and survivors scattered to cover. Erin shouted orders, directing her crew with precision. The survivors were guided to safety while the team engaged the drones. After what felt like hours but was only minutes, the drones withdrew. Silence returned to the tunnels, broken only by the shallow breaths of humans and survivors. The danger had passed, for now. Erin looked around at the survivors, some of them shaken, some frightened, but all alive. "We are not done yet," she said. The fight is not over. But we have found them. And we will bring them home. Outside, the stars continued to shine silently, unaware of the humans' courage. Deep in the tunnels, hope had returned to those who had waited years for rescue. Humanity had arrived, and no darkness, no alien, no danger would stop them from saving their own. The faint voice whispered again, this time filled with relief. "Thank you for coming." Erin smiled faintly. "We are here," she said. "And we are never leaving." The human ship floated silently above the ruined colony, its hull gleaming faintly under the cold light of distant stars. Captain Erin Voss stared at the monitors, her eyes sharp and unwavering. The tunnels below hid the survivors, but the alien patrols surrounding the planet made any rescue seem impossible. Distant ships glided silently, scanning for any movement. One wrong step and everyone, humans and survivors alike, could be destroyed in an instant. Lieutenant Dax leaned over the console, his fingers flying across the controls. "Captain, we have multiple patrols closing in on our position. Their sensors are active. They'll detect us if we make the wrong move." Erin's jaw tightened. "Then we do this smart. We go in, grab the survivors and get out before they even know we're there. We leave no one behind." Her voice carried the weight of command and certainty. She turned to her crew. "Split into 2 teams. Small, fast units. Stealth is our only option." The crew suited up, weapons and equipment secured. Every member knew the stakes. Every human had been trained to face overwhelming odds, and yet this felt different. The alien ships were too many, too fast, and the tunnels beneath were like a maze. One wrong choice could trap them forever. "Ready for descent?" said Dax, voice steady despite the tension. "Go," Erin ordered. Small transport pods detached from the main ship, slipping silently through the darkness. They hovered above the colony's surface, barely making a sound. Erin's team landed near the hidden tunnel entrance. Dust rose in small clouds as the pods touched the ground, but the alien patrols above did not notice. Yet, the crew moved quickly into the tunnel system, flashlights illuminating the jagged walls. The survivors had been waiting, huddled in fear, but hope flared as the humans approached. One by one they were guided toward the pods. Then came a sound that froze everyone's blood. Metallic scraping, quick and sharp, echoed from deeper in the tunnels. Dax held up a hand. "They know we're here," he whispered. Erin's eyes scanned the shadows. "Stay calm. Move faster. No one gets left behind." Suddenly, a small alien drone shot around a corner, its glowing eyes scanning for movement. The crew fired, sparks dancing off the metal shell. The drone twisted and darted out of sight, but the warning was clear. More enemies were nearby. One survivor, a young man named Jalen, froze. Fear rooted him to the spot. Erin knelt beside him. "We are here to take you home. Trust us. Move now." With trembling legs, Jalen followed. The crew formed a protective circle around the group, weapons raised, scanning every shadow. As they approached the final exit from the tunnels, another obstacle appeared. A collapsed wall blocked the path. The humans worked quickly, using tools and brute force to clear the rubble. Time was running out. The alien patrols above would detect them any moment. "Almost there," Erin muttered, sweat beading her forehead. She glanced at her team. "Keep going. We're almost home." Finally, the group emerged into the open air. The pods waited, engines humming quietly. Survivors ran toward them, fear and hope mixing in their eyes. Erin's team followed, covering their backs. But the moment they began boarding, an alarm blared from one of the alien ships above. Red lights flashed and energy beams swept across the colony. One pod was hit, spinning dangerously. Panic threatened to overtake the humans. "Hold on," Erin shouted, running toward the damaged pod. "Get everyone inside." Lieutenant Dax activated the pod's emergency thrusters. It lifted off, engines blazing as the alien fire hit near misses. The other pod followed, carrying survivors and crew alike. Erin watched the planet below, heart pounding, as the alien patrol scrambled to intercept them. "Captain," Dax yelled. "They're closing in." Erin's mind raced. There was no time for hesitation. She maneuvered the pods through a canyon, weaving between rock formations, staying just out of the alien sensor's line. Every second was tense. Every heartbeat mattered. Suddenly, the captured colonist, a woman named Lyra, pointed to a narrow ravine. "Through there. They can't follow." Erin took the lead. The pod shot through the ravine, barely clearing the jagged rocks. The aliens followed briefly, then lost sight. The humans had vanished from their sensors. Relief washed over the crew, but only for a moment. they knew this was far from over. Once in orbit, the crew regrouped on the main ship. The survivors were shaken but alive. They clung to each other, exhausted, grateful, and amazed. Lyra turned to Aaron, tears in her eyes. I thought we were done for. I never believed anyone would come." Aaron smiled faintly. "We never leave anyone behind," she said. "Not in space. Not anywhere. We are human." Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, indifferent to the dangers below. Inside the ship, hope flickered again. Humanity had faced the impossible and survived. They had rescued their own, proving once more that no matter the odds, humans never abandoned anyone. But the crew knew the journey was far from over. The alien patrols were still out there, searching. The colony had secrets, hidden deeper than anyone yet imagined. And somewhere, the survivors who had waited for years now had to rebuild, with humans standing beside them. Aaron's eyes narrowed at the viewport. "We have them. And we will take them home. No matter what comes next." The ship moved silently through space, carrying its precious cargo, leaving the shadows of the alien threat behind, for now. But the universe was vast and danger was never far. The crew tightened their grips on their weapons. Humanity had shown its strength tonight, but the war for survival had only just begun. The human ship floated silently in orbit, but the calm was only an illusion. Outside, the alien fleet had regrouped. Massive warships, far larger than anything the humans had faced before, now surrounded the colony planet. Red warning lights flashed on the human ship's control panels. Sensors screamed with the approaching threat. Dozens of enemy ships, armed with deadly energy weapons, were converging fast. Captain Aaron Voss stood at the bridge, her eyes steady despite the tension. Around her, the crew worked furiously, preparing weapons, shields, and evasive maneuvers. The survivors, still recovering from the tunnels, watched from a secure compartment, fear etched on their faces. Lieutenant Dax approached Aaron, voice low. "Captain, we're heavily outnumbered. Shields at 50%. Any engagement could destroy us instantly." Aaron's jaw tightened. "Then we make it count. We have the survivors. That's our priority. We fight smart and we fight together. Humans never leave anyone behind." The first salvo hit without warning. Alien energy beams streaked across space, slamming into the outer hull. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the ship rocked violently. Crew members gripped consoles and rails to steady themselves. "Brace for impact," Aaron shouted. The ship's defensive systems flared, absorbing some of the blows, but the damage was clear. Hull breaches formed in several sections. Smoke filled the corridors. The survivors screamed, but the crew reassured them, guiding them to secure areas. Aaron's mind raced. They could not outrun the alien fleet, their engines were too slow. They could not outgun it either, the aliens had superior firepower. But humans had something no machine could replicate: ingenuity, courage, and unity. "Divide into attack squads," Aaron commanded. "Small teams take out the alien support ships. Dax, you lead the fighters. I'll stay here with the survivors and coordinate defense. Move fast. Hit hard." The fighters launched in coordinated precision, dodging enemy fire and striking with pinpoint accuracy. Explosions lit up space and alien ships began to falter. The humans moved with unexpected skill, using tactics the aliens had never anticipated. Meanwhile, Aaron coordinated the main ship's shields and countermeasures. Every decision counted, every order mattered. The survivors watched in awe as the humans fought with relentless determination. Even the weakest crew members performed beyond expectation, driven by the promise that no one would be left behind. But the aliens were relentless. A massive warship emerged from the shadows, dwarfing the human ship and its fighters. Its cannons powered up, ready to obliterate everything in seconds. The bridge shook as minor attacks from this giant warship grazed the human hull. "Captain, we can't hold much longer," Dax shouted over the alarms. Aaron took a deep breath. "Then we use their strength against them. Draw them closer. The fighters will flank from behind. Everyone must stay focused. We are not leaving anyone behind, not now, not ever." The humans executed the maneuver flawlessly. The alien warship pursued them, following the bait, unaware of the small human squads weaving through the void to strike at its weak points. Energy beams tore through its armor, causing explosions that rocked even the smaller ships. One of the pods carrying survivors took a direct hit, sending it spinning out of control. Aaron's team acted instantly. Rescue drones deployed, stabilizing the pod, and the crew pulled the survivors to safety. Panic threatened to break their coordination, but Aaron's steady commands kept everyone focused. The alien fleet faltered, confused by the humans' unpredictable tactics. Smaller support ships began to retreat, leaving the massive warship isolated. Aaron saw the opportunity. All teams converge. Finish this before they recover. Explosions filled space as the humans pressed the attack. The massive alien warship shuddered under coordinated strikes from fighters and small strike teams. Sparks and debris scattered across the void. Finally, with a last, desperate roar, the alien flagship was disabled, drifting helplessly in orbit. Silence fell. The crew and survivors stared at the wreckage, hearts pounding, eyes wide with disbelief. They had faced impossible odds and emerged alive. Humanity had won, not because of superior numbers or weapons, but because of courage, teamwork, and the refusal to abandon their own. Erin looked around the bridge at her exhausted crew. We have done it. Everyone is safe. No one left behind. That is what it means to be human. The survivors wept quietly, overwhelmed by relief and gratitude. Children clung to their rescuers, and adults silently thanked the humans who had risked everything for them. Yet Aaron knew the war was far from over. The galaxy was vast, full of dangers and enemies. But one truth had been proven today: when humans fought for each other, no obstacle was too great, no enemy too powerful. Prepare the ship for departure, Aaron ordered. We take the survivors home. And then, we prepare for what comes next. Outside, the stars shone cold and silent, but inside the ship, hope burned brightly. Humanity had stood against the impossible and won. They had proven that even across the stars, humans never left anyone behind. The survivors, once trapped and alone, now had a future. And as the human ship moved silently away from the ruined colony, Erin allowed herself a brief moment of pride. They had faced overwhelming odds, and humanity had prevailed. The galaxy would soon learn that when humans fought for each other, nothing could stop them. The void of space was alive with tension. Though the alien warship had been disabled, pockets of enemy forces still lurked in orbit, scanning, waiting, and searching for any sign of weakness. Captain Aaron Voss stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the holographic displays. Around her, the crew moved with precision, readying defensive systems and preparing for any sudden attack. Captain, Lieutenant Dax said, "We've detected multiple energy spikes approaching from the outer edge of the system. Could be reinforcements." Aaron's face hardened. "Then we prepare. Everyone must stay focused. Remember, we do not leave anyone behind. Not survivors, not crew. Humanity stands together." The survivors, still adjusting to life aboard the ship, looked on with a mixture of awe and fear. Some huddled together, others watched in silence, understanding the danger surrounding them. They had already seen the courage of the humans, and yet the odds still seemed impossible. Without warning, the sensors picked up rapid movement, dozens of small alien fighters darting through the void, approaching the human ship in coordinated attack formations. Warning sirens blared. The bridge lit up with red alerts, and the crew scrambled to their positions. Defensive shields at max. Aaron ordered, "Engage evasive maneuvers." The alien fighters opened fire, beams of deadly energy streaking toward the ship. Explosions rocked the hull, throwing crew members against consoles. Sparks flew as systems flickered under the assault. But the human ship did not falter. Every crew member performed flawlessly, anticipating every move, countering every attack. "Captain," Dax shouted, "our fighters are ready to engage. We can flank them." "Do it," Aaron commanded. "Take the fight to them. Protect the survivors at all costs." The human fighters surged into the void, weaving through enemy fire with astonishing skill. Energy beams met shields, explosions lit the darkness, and one by one the alien fighters began to falter. Yet the pressure never lifted. Another wave approached, faster and more organized than the last. Meanwhile, Aaron focused on the survivors. She moved among them, speaking quietly, guiding them to safety. She noticed a young boy trembling in fear, clinging to a volunteer crew member. Kneeling beside him, she whispered, "You are safe now. Humans never leave anyone behind." The boy's eyes widened, hope replacing fear. Back on the bridge, Dax reported, "Captain, the reinforcements are aligning. Full assault is imminent." Aaron's mind raced. She knew that to survive they needed unity, not just among the crew but between humans and survivors. "All hands," she said, her voice steady and commanding, "we fight together. Everyone, every survivor who can help, every soldier, every fighter, our strength is in unity. Now move." Even the survivors took part, helping with repairs, manning emergency stations and supporting the crew. The ship's corridors were alive with humans working together, courage and determination burning brighter than fear. The alien forces launched their final assault. Massive ships moved in formation, their weapons powered and aimed. Erin's heart pounded, but she did not waver. "Hold the line," she shouted. "We do not retreat." The humans countered with skill and precision. Fighters darted around enemy formations, small strike teams disabled critical systems on the enemy ships, and defensive shields absorbed deadly energy. The battle raged, explosive and relentless. Amid the chaos, one of the alien command ships focused on a pod carrying survivors. Beams of energy ripped through space, heading straight for it. Without hesitation, Erin maneuvered the ship, positioning it as a shield. Sparks flew, alarms screamed, but every survivor remained safe. Dax looked at her awed. "Captain, you saved them." Erin nodded, her jaw tight. "We saved them all. That is what it means to be human." The human fleet, though smaller, fought with perfect coordination. The aliens faltered, unable to predict human tactics. Fighter after fighter engaged, strike teams disabled ships, and the massive alien ships began to retreat, their formation breaking. One by one, enemy vessels fled, leaving the humans victorious. Silence fell. The survivors looked around, overwhelmed by relief and gratitude. Children hugged their rescuers, adults whispered thanks. The crew allowed themselves a brief moment of pride, but Erin remained vigilant. The galaxy was vast and danger was never far. "Prepare for departure," Erin ordered. "We bring everyone home." As the ship moved away from the colony, the survivors watched the stars, awe and wonder in their eyes. They had been trapped, alone and hopeless, and now they were free. Humanity had proven that across the stars, humans never abandoned their own. Erin stood at the viewport, her reflection mixing with the endless expanse of space. She thought of the courage she had seen, crew, survivors, children and volunteers alike. Every human had risked everything for each other. That was the true power of humanity: unity, courage, and a refusal to leave anyone behind. The universe was still dangerous, filled with threats unseen. But tonight, humans had shown the galaxy a simple, undeniable truth. No matter how far, no matter how impossible, humanity stood together. A faint signal came from deep space. Another colony, another distress call. Erin's eyes narrowed. The mission was not over. Humanity's work never was. She turned to her crew, determination in her gaze. "We will go. We will save them. And we will never leave anyone behind. Not ever." The ship glided silently into the stars, carrying hope, courage, and survivors alike. Humanity had united, faced the impossible, and won, not through technology alone, but through the strength of the human spirit. And the galaxy would remember this day. The stars stretched endlessly across the void. The hum of the ship's engines filled the quiet bridge, and for the first time in weeks, there was peace. Captain Erin Voss stood by the viewport, staring at the silent planet they had saved. Smoke still rose from the surface, but life, fragile and persistent, remained. Behind her, the crew moved with a calm efficiency. The survivors they had rescued were safe in the lower decks, receiving medical care, food, and warmth. For many, this was the first moment of safety in years. But peace never lasted long. "Captain," Lieutenant Dax called, breaking the silence. "We're picking up something, deep space transmission. It's weak but repeating." Erin turned. "Origin?" "Unknown," Dax replied. "It's not from the colony. It's farther, much farther. Beyond mapped territory." A quiet dread filled the bridge. Every human there knew what that could mean. Another distress call. Another colony. Another cry for help. Erin's gaze didn't waver. "Play it." A burst of static filled the air, followed by a broken voice, faint, desperate, human. "Anyone out there? Under attack. They're not stopping, please." Then silence. The crew exchanged worried glances. The message repeated, glitching each time, like an echo of fear trapped in the stars. "They're humans," Dax said softly. "Another colony." Erin felt a heavy weight settle in her chest. They had already fought so much. The ship was damaged, ammunition low, and half the systems were running on backup power. But she knew there was only one answer. "Plot a course," she said quietly. "We're going." Dax hesitated. "Captain, the crew is exhausted. We barely made it through the last battle." Erin turned to him, her voice steady, calm, and unshakable. "If they're calling for help, we answer. Humans never abandon their own. Not now. Not ever." There was no argument. Orders were given. Engines roared to life. The ship turned toward the unknown. Hours passed. The rescued survivors gathered near viewing ports as the ship jumped through slipstream space. Many had tears in their eyes, whispering words of gratitude and disbelief. They had seen humans risk everything to save them, and now those same humans were heading into danger again. A small girl named Elira approached Aaron quietly on the bridge. She carried a stuffed toy burned and stitched together. "Captain," she said softly, "why are you going again? You already saved us." Aaron smiled gently. "Because someone else needs saving now. That's what we do." The girl nodded slowly, understanding more than her years should allow. "Then I'll help when I'm big," she whispered. Aaron placed a hand on her shoulder. "I believe you will." Moments later, alarms flared. Dropping out of slipstream. Dax shouted, "Captain, you need to see this." The stars snapped back into view, and so did the battlefield. Before them, debris floated in silence. Burned ships, broken colonies, shattered stations. It was a graveyard of metal and light. But amid the wreckage, a single distress beacon blinked weakly from a drifting human freighter. Aaron's heart pounded. "Any life signs?" "Minimal," Dax replied. "But yes, there are survivors." Without hesitation, Aaron ordered, "Launch rescue teams. Secure the area." As the ship approached, the scanners lit up. Movement. Hidden among the wreckage, alien ships stirred to life, their engines glowing faintly. "It's an ambush," Dax shouted. "They were waiting for us." The aliens attacked with brutal precision. Energy blasts tore through space, slamming into the human vessel. The ship's shields flared and groaned under the assault. "Return fire," Aaron commanded. "Protect the rescue teams." Human gunners fired back, striking the enemy with calculated bursts. Fighters launched, twisting through the battlefield. The void lit up with streaks of plasma and debris. The ship shuddered as another blast hit its flank. "Shields failing on port side," a crew member shouted. Aaron's jaw tightened. "Reroute power from life support in unoccupied decks. Keep the shields up." "Captain, that will leave half the ship freezing." "Do it," she snapped. Outside, the rescue pods reached the freighter. The teams breached its hull, pulling survivors out under heavy fire. It was chaos, explosions, static, alarms, but the humans didn't stop. Minutes stretched like hours. The alien ships closed in, surrounding them. "We're outnumbered 5-1, Dax warned. Aaron looked around the bridge. Her crew was exhausted, yet not one pair of eyes showed fear. They had made their choice long ago. "Transmit a message," she said. "To all human frequencies." "What message, Captain?" Aaron stood tall. "Tell them this: humans never abandon their own. If they can hear us, if they can reach us, come." The message went out, echoing across space. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then from the darkness, lights appeared. First one, then 3, then dozens. Human ships, freighters, patrol craft, even civilian transports, emerged from slipspace answering the call. They came from different sectors, battered and unready, yet united by one simple truth: no human left behind. The tide of battle turned. Human ships flanked the enemy, fighters struck from all angles, and the aliens, caught off guard, began to retreat. The void burned bright with victory. When the last alien ship jumped away, silence returned. The freighter's survivors were safe. The crew cheered. The bridge erupted in relief. Aaron closed her eyes for a moment, exhaling slowly. "We did it," Dax said quietly. Aaron nodded. "No. We did it, all of us. Humanity did." She looked out at the stars, where countless beacons now pulsed across space. Signals from humans everywhere, uniting, helping, standing together. "Remember this day," she said softly. "The galaxy thought humans would abandon their own. They were wrong." The ship turned, engines glowing. Humanity had faced the darkness, and chosen light. They had fought for strangers and saved the lost. Because across every star, every world, and every battle, humans never abandon their own.